In 2024, Jaguar's ad campaign wiped out decades of heritage, sparking a firestorm that led to a 97% sales collapse and left showrooms empty around the world. Once the pride of Tata's $2.3 billion purchase, Jaguar spiraled from near zero profit to near total rejection overnight. How did a single creative gamble become the tipping point for their billion-dollar empire? And what pushed leadership to stake it all on this fatal reset? Tata Motors entered the luxury car market in 2008, acquiring Jaguar and Land Rover from Ford for $2.3 billion. The deal, struck just as the global financial crisis gathered pace, gave Tata ownership of two British icons at a steep discount. But the numbers told a different story behind the scenes. While Land Rover quickly became a profit engine, posting a record profit of £1.8 billion in the fiscal year ending 2024, Jaguar's contribution barely registered. Managing Director Rawdon Glover described Jaguar's margins as close to zero profitability, a blunt assessment that echoed through Tata's boardrooms. The gap between the brands only widened. Range Rover and Defender models moved 58,000 and 28,000 units respectively, driving JLR overall growth. Jaguar, by contrast, limped along with global sales falling to 13,000 in the same period, a collapse from 66,000 just a year earlier. The company's luxury sedans and sports cars, once symbols of British engineering, now added little more than red ink to the balance sheet. Tata's patience was tested. The $2.3 billion investment, once hailed as a bold move, now looked like a liability as Jaguar's losses piled up. With Land Rover subsidizing the brand, pressure mounted for a radical solution. The numbers left little room for sentiment. Jaguar needed a complete reset or risked dragging down the entire operation. Jerry McGovern stood at the center of Jaguar's boldest transformation. On November 19, 2024, the company revealed its new direction to the world, a complete overhaul, not just of the cars, but of the brand itself. This wasn't a tweak or a facelift. Production of every existing Jaguar model was scheduled to halt by the end of December, clearing the decks for an all-electric lineup set to debut in 2026. The goal was to reimagine Jaguar as a true rival to the world's most exclusive electric vehicle marques, targeting a market where vehicles would start above £100,000. This decision didn't come quietly. Marketing expert Rory Sutherland warned that Jaguar's survival was on the line. The stakes were clear. Bet everything on reinvention or risk disappearing entirely. The old sedans and sports cars, once the pride of British motoring, would vanish from showrooms for at least a year. Dealers prepared for months without new product, a move that would test the patience of even the most loyal partners. For McGovern, the pivot meant breaking from the past. He called it exuberant modernism, a philosophy that erased heritage cues in favor of something original. The leadership's ambition was unmistakable: create shock, generate buzz, and force the world to see Jaguar as something new. But with the production lines going silent and critics questioning the wisdom of erasing a century of history, the company's future now rested on a single, high-stakes gamble. Every trace of Jaguar's past vanished almost overnight. In November 2024, the company deleted its entire social media archive. Decades of racing triumphs, iconic sedans, and celebrity endorsements wiped clean. The official website redirected to a stark new landing page. The familiar Leaper emblem, once a symbol of British elegance, was replaced by a minimalist logo in block capitals: Jaguar. This was not a subtle refresh. The message was clear: forget everything you thought you knew. The centerpiece of the new campaign arrived with the copy-nothing film. Gone were the sweeping shots of polished bonnets and winding country roads. Instead, the ad featured models draped in neon fabrics, posing on surreal sets. One stood atop a pink lunar landscape, another lounged beside a mirror cube. Not a single car appeared on screen. Delete, ordinary. Brake molds. The soundtrack pulsed with electronic beats. More art gallery than automotive showroom. Chief Creative Officer Jerry McGovern defended the approach as exuberant modernism, a total break from nostalgia. The campaign launched in tandem with Miami Art Week, where Jaguar hosted gallery spaces for emerging artists, not vehicles. The company's new creative partners, Accenture Song and Spark 44, doubled down on the idea that Jaguar's future belonged to a new, exclusive audience. Dealers, left with empty showrooms, watched as the brand's entire history was erased in favor of an abstract promise. For loyalists, the transformation felt less like reinvention and more like exile. The Copy Nothing campaign detonated across social media in less than 48 hours. Elon Musk, never one to miss a viral moment, fired off a single-line tweet that read, "Do you sell cars?" The post ricocheted through automotive circles, racking up millions of impressions. It became the shorthand for everything critics saw as wrong with Jaguar's new direction. An ad campaign so abstract, even the world's most famous car executive questioned whether the company still made vehicles at all. The backlash did not stop with industry insiders. Conservative commentators seized the moment, drawing comparisons to Bud Light's advertising fiasco. Donald Trump weighed in, calling it a disgraceful ad and warning that billions had been lost. A claim that ignored Jaguar's lack of a public market cap, but stuck in the public imagination. Hashtags like #GoWokeGoBroke and #Fagwar trended for days, amplifying the sense of disaster. A study by Cyabra, an Israeli analytics firm, uncovered that nearly 1 in 5 accounts fueling the outrage were bots or coordinated fakes. But the anger was not all synthetic. Real customers and dealers vented frustration over the erasure of Jaguar's identity. The online verdict was swift: catastrophic failure, brand suicide, a textbook case in how not to pivot a legacy brand. Rivals wasted no time exploiting the chaos. BMW and Mercedes doubled down on their dual-line strategies, offering both electric and combustion models under familiar badges. Their ads showed cars, sleek, recognizable, aspirational, while Jaguar's campaign was lampooned as a cautionary tale. The contrast could not have been sharper, and the consequences for Jaguar grew by the hour. Sales data delivered the harshest verdict. In April 2024, Jaguar registered 1,961 new vehicles across Europe. By April 2025, that figure collapsed to just 49, a 97.5% drop in a single year. Globally, the picture was no better. Annual deliveries plummeted from 62,000 in 2022 to 13,000 in the fiscal year ending 2024. Showrooms that once moved hundreds of cars a month now struggled to sell a dozen. The collapse was swift and absolute, leaving a trail of unsold inventory and anxious dealers. For a brand that once defined British luxury, the disappearance from the market was almost total. The numbers left no room for debate. The world had turned away, and Jaguar was left in the cold. Adrian Mardell announced his retirement on July 31st, 2025, just 8 months after the rebrand launched. His exit underscored the strain at the top, as the company's future hung on an unproven vision. On the ground, the fallout was even more visible. Jaguar's U.S. dealer network, once 122 strong, began shrinking toward just 20 curated locations. Showrooms emptied out, leaving longtime partners with little to sell and no clear path forward. The entire retail structure was being dismantled in anticipation of 3 new electric models. promised for 2026, but still unseen. With leadership in flux and the dealer base gutted, Jaguar's billion-dollar gamble was now exposed, its outcome uncertain and its legacy at risk. Right now, Jaguar's deserted showrooms are a warning. Heritage can vanish overnight when leaders mistake disruption for vision. In an era where every brand risks reinvention, relevance depends on understanding your audience, not just reinventing yourself. The next billion-dollar misstep could be only one campaign away.